Well, good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to call to order the first general membership meeting of the 83rd Annual Convention of the American Quarter Horse Association. I'm President Dr. Scott Myers, and it's been my pleasure to serve as your president and now to welcome you to Fort Worth. I hope you find our agenda this morning to be informative and exciting. At this time, I'd like to welcome AQHA First Vice President Grant Maston from Jackson, Ohio, to lead us in prayer. And then I'll ask Carl Stressman to join me for some special recognitions.
Can you please bow your heads to pray with me? Lord, we have been blessed to come together as one association to grow and learn because of our common passion, the American Quarter Horse. We are grateful for the opportunity to join with our fellow members and horse lovers this weekend. Coming together in fellowship is something we treasure more now than ever. We ask that you guide us in the coming days for the betterment of our industry, association, and community, so we can glorify you in our actions and words. Thank you for the time we share together and for the opportunity to enhance our association for the future. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Good morning, all. It's a great view from up here to see all of you here, and we certainly do appreciate that and look forward to today and the next couple of days. Thank you, Grant, for the invocation. I do appreciate that. I'd like to recognize some people that are in the audience, and I want to start with the AQHA Executive Committee. You've already had a chance to meet Dr. Myers, and his wife, Dr. Myers, is in the audience. Thank you, Lovey. The first Vice President, Mr. Ken Banks, and his wife, Lena Banks. The second Vice President, Mr. Jim Hunt, and his wife, Joni. Mr. Jeff Tebow and his wife, Vicki. And Mr. Jim Brinkman and his wife, Tana. And joining us on stage is the General Counsel Officer, Mr. Chad Pierce. And representing the AQHYA this morning, the president of the AQHYA, Adriana Totten, which I had the pleasure of spending some time with yesterday, and I certainly appreciate the conversation we had yesterday. I'm looking forward to some more of it. The AQHYA first vice president, Grant Maston, which you've already met. And the executive committee member, Sydney Sargent of Paris, Kentucky. The AQHYA directors in attendance today are Region 3 Director, Abigail Eddy, Hazel Miles, and Colton Smith. Now let's recognize our 2023 AQHA Convention sponsors. First, let's start with the sponsor of this morning's membership general meeting, Pulse Vet. Please direct your attention to the screen at this time. Now please join me in welcoming Trudy Gage, the Director of North American Sales and Client Education, to the stage for a few remarks.
Hello, and thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here again with all of you and partner with the AQHA. Everyone's been wonderful. I loved meeting some of you last night. I hope to meet many more of you. I want to hear about your horses, and I want to hear about your dog, and you are definitely going to hear about mine if we get a moment to talk. Warning. My dog snickers. She's in every conversation I have. But as a partner of yours, I know a lot about you, and I thought, you probably don't know a lot about who we are. And I thought you might enjoy knowing a bit about us, and I'm certainly hoping you will approve. We also partner with the Quezon platoon horses, the Army's Old Guard. I've been spending some time there with those horses, the Quezon horses that work Arlington National Cemetery, carrying our fallen soldiers to their final resting spot. I think that, I don't know if you're aware, but some quarter horses are currently there that I've met a couple weeks ago doing that very, very important job, and we're very proud to work closely with them. Last week, I was fortunate enough to receive an award from an organization called Worldwide Vets. And this is a group of really brave veterinarians that are working in Ukraine and around the world in other places where there is such great need to take care of the horses and dogs in those areas. We were really proud to partner with them and donated a device for their use in those very important areas of the world needing our help. We also are partnered with the Foundation of the Horse through the American Association of Equine Practitioners. And what that group is doing is scholarships and working with education for those veterinary students, supporting more science and research. So as one of your partners, I hope you will approve with those other things we're doing, and I believe we all care about the same thing, which is the welfare of our horses and dogs. We are a Made in the USA company. We're proud of that. We build this device in Alpharetta, Georgia, and our headquarters is in Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's sold only to licensed veterinarians. I would love to talk to you more about how it might help your horse and dog, and I'd really love to hear about your horses and dogs. So please stop and introduce yourself to me. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Trudy, and thank you for the sponsorship this morning's meeting. For our next sponsors, please stand when I call your name, and I'll try not to butcher anybody's name, but no guarantees. Would like to thank the South Point, Mr. Ryan Growney and Steve Stallworth for their sponsorship, of course, Mr. Gahn and the whole crew at the South Point. We also appreciate the Continental Breakfast sponsors who help keep us fueled, at least for today. The Oklahoma City and Visitors Bureau and the OKC Fairgrounds, representing the OKC CVB President Zach Craig, Director of State Fair Events and Operations Jonathan Fisher, and Kirk Slaughter, who will become the OKC Fairgrounds President and CEO in May. The OKC Fairgrounds, represented by Executive Vice President David Rees. And the Heritage Place, representing Heritage Place, is General Manager Spence Kinney. And the Amarillo National and Amarillo Convention and Visitors Bureau, representing the boy, that's easy to say for me, isn't it? Amarillo, I live there, National Bank, Crystal Daffin, Selma Purvis, and Ray Duncan, and the Amarillo CVB Director of Client Services, Stephanie Andrews. Thank you for all the sponsors of the 2023 AQHA Convention. Let's give them another round of applause, please. Now it really is my great pleasure to introduce this next lady. Miss Rodeo America 2023, Kennedy Riggs. As Miss Rodeo America, Kennedy attends events across the country to educate the public and create awareness about the sport of rodeo. Kennedy will join me on stage for this morning. Miss Kennedy Riggs from Arizona, by the way. Thank you, dear.
Thank you so much for that sweet introduction. Yes, as he said, my name is Kennedy Riggs, and I'm here from Arizona, the sweetheart state, and I'm very proud to be reigning as Miss Rodeo America 2023. Now, this title comes as a great honor because I get to represent such great partners and sponsorships such as the American Quarter Horse Association. Now, the Miss Rodeo America organization and the AQHA have been partners for a while, and we link arms in many ways. One example of this is towards the end of the year, held in conjunction with the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, we hold our 8-day-long Miss Rodeo America pageant. But each year, we make sure that our panel of judges includes at least one AQHA recognized person that holds accolades within this association. This year, I was pleased to get to know Mr. Stan Weaver and Mr. Brinkman's cute wife, Tana, and that was a wonderful experience being able to get to know them, and they were two of my judges. But the American Quarter Horse Association has ties not only with the Miss Rodeo America organization, but also with my family. And I'm very honored today to represent my family and the legacy that I get to carry on today. Last year, I was at this convention in Las Vegas, but as an attendee with my family, celebrating having received the 75-year Breeders' Award. For over 75 years, my family has been breeding quarter horses for running and performance. I'm very lucky to stand here today representing them after all this time, because in the early 1900s, my great-great-grandpa Frost, who I call Grandpa Boo Boo, was one of the first to start breeding quarter horses to thoroughbreds. And now today, we still see some of those familiar names of those foundational horses that their bloodlines run strong in our broodmares that we take so much pride in. But of course, as we talk about the American Quarter Horse, we love speaking of strong bloodlines. And I am proud to say that I myself come from good stock. I'm proud also to speak of some of the lessons that my family has passed down through the generations that we have drawn from the American Quarter Horse. Some of these things I've learned from the horse are resilience, hard work, partnership, patience, and I've learned that there is indeed a great creator up above. I've learned so much that is important to my life about the American Quarter Horse that my horses that I own might not ever have any clue of. But I'm thankful for this because it's a gift from God. I know for myself that the American Quarter Horse is not just an animal or a creature. It is one of God's greatest creations and gifts to men. Now, as I think of this, the lyrics to one of my favorite songs rings true and relevant to us today. Because I have been given much, I too must give. And each one of us in this room that has experienced the American Quarter Horse in some way, shape, or form have too experienced a piece of heaven, and that is worth sharing. So today, officially as Miss Rodeo America and as a Frost ancestor, I'm proud to extend an invitation to you each officially in this audience today. I want you to think of someone around you who has not experienced the power of the quarter horse and share with them something important to you that you have learned from the AQHA. Because this truly is a gift from God, and as we take the past, the good from it, to the present, we can create a better future for not only the AQHA, but for a better society and a world.
How about that? Before we get too much further into the program, I would like to remind everybody that you must wear your badges when you're here at the convention. Coming from a guy that doesn't have his badge on, you all have to wear your badges. You understand that? Or you're going to get in trouble. Somebody's going to get in trouble if we don't wear our badges. So I'll put mine on in just a little bit so I can comply. But if you ask the EC, I don't comply real easily. You have to be a little bit convinced that I'm supposed to comply. So, okay, let's see. And by the way, the directors, we will be taking roll by scanning your badges. I think you've experienced the scan line already. Both board meetings, again this year, we must attend both board meetings and scan to be considered present. The directors, we will scan your badges during the break and this meeting, because we will immediately begin the board of directors meeting right after this meeting. So, the notice to the AQHA members of this annual meeting was published in the November-December issue of the American Quarter Horse Journal, and I have been advised that there are only 781 of you here during this week. What a great turnout. Thank you. Thank you for the support, and thank you for being here. We appreciate you being here, and we certainly look forward to meeting more of you and listening a little bit better. The convention guidelines for this year's meeting are available at the AQHA registration desk. The guidelines and the agenda for this convention were approved by the AQHA Executive Committee. Therefore, those guidelines and agendas will be followed during this convention. President Myers has also appointed the AQHA Executive Committee to approve the minutes of this convention. In addition, the Executive Committee approved of the usage of electronic voting devices for voting purposes of the membership business meeting and the new board of directors meetings, which is the same method as previous years due to the accuracy and efficiency of the devices. Boy, that's a big statement, isn't it? The accuracy and efficiency of electronic devices, holy smokes. If no objections, this procedure will be used on Monday. And now let's move on to some special presentations. This year, AQHA has been able to welcome a slate of new partners that are proudly offering AQHA licensed products. These companies include Montana Silversmith, which I think you all know. We have signed not only a license agreement with them, but a sponsorship agreement where going forward with our friends at Montana Silversmith, all of the buckles that will be awarded to the entire AQHA will all be made in the USA. We want to thank Montana Silversmith, longtime partners in another adventure that I have had with them, and we really appreciate the support from Montana Silversmith. Caro Original Wear, which some of you are familiar with, will be the official soft goods license of the AQHA, and we're proud to be back with them. Chad Fairchild, who is the president of Caro Original, I think I knew him since he was about this tall, so I feel like I have the opportunity to tell him what he should and shouldn't be doing. He probably would disagree with that, but I'm going to stand on that one. Commemorative firearms, if you have an opportunity, obviously these people have space out here by the registration desk. Please take an opportunity to go by and look at the products. The commemorative firearms is a new piece, and I think you'll be impressed with the work on that. I think we have sold 13 or 14 or 15 of those already in the short period that they've been here. So please go by and take a look at the commemorative firearms with the AQHA logos on. And Wooks is a knife company and a blade company that will have a licensing AQHA. They're out there also. Please take a look at those. And of course, our dear friends at Justin, who are producing an AQHA boot. And I can tell you that I can just look around and make sure and know that most everybody in here's got a pair of boots on. So stop by and see. Obviously, we want to support these people that are supporting our organization, and so please take a minute to stop and see them. This time, I'd like to invite Montana Silversmith Chief Marketing Officer, my dear friend Judy Wagner, to the stage. I miss Judy.
Hi, everyone. It is my awesome pleasure to share with you that Montana Silversmiths is celebrating our 50th anniversary in 2023. That is simply extraordinary. Yeah, thank you. And it's a tribute to four things primarily: the people who create our product, are really our greatest asset. The second thing is those products are created, have value. The third thing is the programs that we create. Callie Adams shared with you yesterday in the affiliate one of those programs of what we can do. And then lastly, our treasured partnerships. We are so honored, Callie and I, representing Montana Silversmiths, to stand here and be your official silversmiths. We don't take that lightly. We know that every buckle has a story, and we are committed to make for you world-class buckles that are 100% made in the USA. You know, I have something buried in my head. It's actually branded in my head, and it's a memory of you, Carl. And you could say you.
Did you get permission to tell that?
We've been around a while. But it's a memory of him basically virtually extending his hand and saying to us, you know, I think we ought to do this damn deal. So I want to say to you and to the AQHA members out here, we're going to do this damn deal. Not just as the official silversmiths of the AQHA, but also as an official licensed partner, like you said. And I just wanted, to take a minute on licenserships. It's not just a revenue stream. It's actually an extension of a brand where you take our expertise, you leverage our channels, and you touch points that maybe you're not going to touch. So first on the list that you mentioned, and one that's been around a while, but Justin Boots. They are the official boot of the AQHA. Their funds raised from that support the foundation. And then we have the new ones like commemorative firearms, Woots, knives, Carol Western, original wear, and Montana Silversmiths. I encourage you to, when you go out and you think of gifting, think of the AQHA products that Montana's offering. If you need something to celebrate an anniversary or maybe even a fundraiser, think of commemorative. If you need good cutlery, go to Woots. If you need great outerwear, it's Carol Leather. And if you need good, comfortable boots, let's go to Justin. What are we going to have to do to be successful? We're going to have to get out there and do this damn thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. That wasn't a story I thought you were going to tell. Got a little excited there for a minute. We go way, way back, so there's lots of stories you could have told. So thanks for telling that one. Okay, let's please help me welcome our Director of International Activities to the stage for the next recognition. I don't think that's working, is it, Kyla? It is? Okay. AQHA does business in more than 90 countries around the world. As you can imagine, it's difficult to have an active presence in every country. For decades, the American Quarter Horse Association has partnered with international affiliates, organizations to represent the AQHA and serve its more than 30,000 international members. Jamie, it's nice to see you, young lady. You doing all right? Nice to see you. Jamie Hughes, ladies and gentlemen, are you going to use the mic? You can say, you want to? Yeah, go ahead, please.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us here at the convention. It has been my pleasure to serve as the Director of International Activities for the American Quarter Horse Association, and I give a special welcome to many of our international partners who are joining us in person here. And if you happen to have a chance to interact with them while you are here, I encourage you to do so. The reach of the quarter horse worldwide is truly incredible. And to be able to welcome our international affiliates here in person is truly an honor. Thank you.
appreciate you. You got to stay up here with me and do it. Today we are pleased to recognize 6 of our 36 active international affiliates with anniversary awards honoring the years they have committed to serving our association and our horse. Affiliate representatives, please remain on stage after receiving your award so we can take a group photo. Representing Argentina, International Affiliate President Diego Orazi. Argentina is being recognized for 40 international affiliate status, 40-year international status. Representing the Dominican Republic, International Affiliates President Fontley Garrido, the Dominican Republic is being recognized for 20 years of international affiliate status. And representing Norway, the AQHA appointed the international representative Gina Victoria Lea. Norway is recognized for 20 years of international affiliate status. We have a few affiliates celebrating milestones that were unable to join us today. Ireland is being recognized for 20 years. Paraguay is being recognized for 40 years, and Uruguay is being recognized for 40 years. We are incredibly grateful for the work of these international affiliates and are pleased to recognize their efforts today. Thank you all. Our partners and sponsors contribute more than $3.4 million directly into events and programs for you, the members of this great association. Let's meet some of the people who make it all happen. As I call your name, please stand and please hold your applause until we have introduced all of our special guests. From Mattaquan, Miss Tracy Nelson. Warringer, Ingelheim, Amanda McAvoy, and Scott Porter. I had the opportunity to talk with Amanda last night and enjoyed that. Thank you very much. I look forward to some more conversation with you. John Deere and the AQHA Membership Plus, Steve Driscoll. Thank you, Steve. And my dear, dear friend, Miss Darla Fisher from Justin Boots. Markel Insurance Company, Frank Costanatini, and Emily Springman. Thank you all. Montana Silversmith, you've met Judy Wagner, but Callie Adams is here with her too. Thank you, ladies. Neutrina, Russell Mueller, Tracy Everest, Kristen Stevens, and Dr. Holly Spooner. Thank you all. And Smart Pack, Emily Joyce and Amanda Bodkin. The Four Sixes Ranch, Burnett Ranches, Joe Leathers, Nathan Kennedy, and Dina Milner. Sorry. And our general memberships meeting sponsor, Pulse Vet, Trudy Gage. You've already met Trudy. Please stand, Trudy. Thank you very much. Most of our partners and sponsors have graciously agreed to attend our convention, which shows their level of commitment to the AQHA and to understand how we can better work together. We thank them for being here and for their ongoing support. Let's give them all another round of applause, please. I'm going to go off script just a little bit, Kyla. She instructed me that I couldn't do that. I was forbidden to go off script, but I don't stay on course very long. I'm going to agree exactly with what Judy Wagner said. I want to emphasize the fact that we cannot do what we do in this organization without the people sitting right here beside us. And the greatest thing about a group of people like this is they understand that. they understand where the business comes from. And I would absolutely agree with Judy in saying to you all, when you have a chance and when you have an opportunity, please take the opportunity to support the people that support us. Let's welcome Russell Mueller and Dr. Holly Spooner to the stage for a special presentation. Since 2000, Nutrena has been an official nutrition partner of the AQHA. Nutrena offers a complete line of feeds designed to provide optimum nutrition for horses, as well as their premium pet line, Loyal. Nutrena is presenting a check for $15,000 to the American Quarter Horse Foundation on behalf of the American Quarter Horse Professional Horsemen. Accepting on behalf of the foundation, our president, Dr. Scott Myers. This donation is made possible through Nutrena's sponsorship of the Ride of the Pattern Clinics at the AQHA World Adequan Select and Farnham World Championship Show. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Let's give another round of applause to all of our partners who generously support this association and our programs. And a reminder that the only way the AQHA corporate partner and event sponsors are made to the contributions and support we enjoy because of the purchase of their products, which I obviously got off script and said already. We okay, Kyla? I told Kyla before I got up here, you know what? I don't even know what these rules and regulations mean, but I'm going to tell you what, I can look at this screen right here and see that I'm not on course. And she said she'd just start flashing it if I got too far off course. So. We'd like to take a moment to announce our 2022 Nutrena Don Burt AQHA Professional Horseman of the Year. Nutrena AQHA Professional Horsewoman of the Year and Most Valuable Professional Awards winner. Being named to Nutrena AQHA Professional Horseman of the Year or Most Valuable Professional are the top awards an AQHA professional horseman can receive in the equine industry. Each year, individuals are nominated by the AQHA Professional Horseman for the prestigious honor of being named a Nutrena AQHA Professional Horseman of the Year. As I call your name, please stand and be recognized. Our 2022 Nutrena Don Burt AQHA Professional Horseman of the Year, John Pipkin. Pretty cool right there.
Thank you, Carl. Well, that's unexpected and much appreciated. So thank you for that. And most importantly, I know the group that voted on that, and so to stand here with my peers and to be recognized by you is just humbling, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. So it's a pleasure for me to be able to serve AQHA and the professional horsemen and judges and the exhibitors and owners and other supporters of the association. It's just a real pleasure for me. So I'm humbled. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Our Nutrena AQHA Professional Horsewoman of the Year is Miss Cindy Hale. And our most valuable professional award winner is Robin Fridd. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. Thank you. Wow, thank you to everybody to kind of back up what one of my mentors, Mr. Pipkin, said truly is an honor to receive an award like this. This is something that, as a volunteer, which really so many of us as professionals and all of us that are here, we're all volunteers, right? Giving back to the industry that we love, giving back to the horse that we love. And to be honored like this amongst so many of my fellow professionals that have won these awards, I don't feel that I'm deserving compared to somebody like Dr. John, but thank you so much.
If you watch the screen, I believe we have a video to play at this point in time.
Our industry is fortunate to have the support of companies that share our passion. Our partners and sponsors have generously supported our members and programs for many years. Their continued commitment and loyalty are vital to the success of our great association. On behalf of the American Quarter Horse Association, we want to simply say thank you.
Please welcome now the AQHA President, Dr. Scott Myers, back to the podium for the AQHA Presidential Address. Dr. Myers.
Well, good morning. I'm humbled to stand here before you today, and I stand here with great appreciation for AQHA and our great horse. And as I stand here today, I have the greatest respect for those in this room. And so I ask, why are we all here today? Well, you could say we all love the horse. You could say we love the sport. You could say we love the horse community and the family. You could say we all are here because we want to make a difference. No matter what your response, one thing is common: you are passionate and dedicated to the success of AQHA. You're here because you respect the governance structure, and you came to influence that process and make a difference in this association and make it better. You are all accomplished, dedicated, and passionate about AQHA, and your passion shows. Thank you for the time you've invested in this convention. You spent countless pre-convention hours on committee work, conference calls, and virtual meetings, discussing and forming policies that will raise this association above all others. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for making the decision to attend this convention and to support and direct AQHA. Over the past year, I've had the privilege to be the 73rd president of AQHA. The 5 years have passed since I've joined the executive committee, and it's been my honor to serve the membership. So I want to start by thanking my wife, Leslie, for allowing me the time and the freedom to serve AQHA in this capacity. So Leslie is pictured here with our two daughters, Taylor and Mallory. My oldest daughter, Taylor, is a veterinarian and is in her second year of residency in equine sports medicine at Texas A&M. And Mallory, also a veterinarian, is completing an internal medicine fellowship at Haggard Equine Medical Institute in Lexington, Kentucky. My daughter's busy schedules prevented them from being here today. I wish they were here. Daughters could be God's greatest blessing. How many of you feel the same way about your children and your family and the privilege we have to raise them in this AQHA community. So I also want to acknowledge and thank Mr. Ken Moomey for his confidence over the years, his support, and his mentorship. Where are you at, Ken? Thank you. As I joined the executive committee, perhaps the greatest challenge and the most ominous threat was to try to identify the 10-year, multi-million-dollar bleed of the association's long-term investments. We should all be thankful we had Jim Hurd and Norm Luba at the table during that time to relentlessly push this effort. Within one month of me joining the executive committee, our longtime chief financial officer resigned. We made little progress until we hired a new CFO, and we were able to slowly and methodically dissect the AQHA financial complexities and start us on a new path. Every financial part was painstakingly analyzed, and slowly we started the path of financial recovery. A new budget process was implemented that started us on a course of sustainable financial recovery, not only stopping the bleed, but developing a balanced path of yearly contributions back to our long-term investments. And along the way, unhealthy parts were identified and eliminated. A new auditing firm was onboarded that brought a much-needed and long overdue higher level of accountability. The next challenge we faced, 4.0, and then the launch of 4.0. This could be the single most challenging thing I've ever faced in my life. That launch happened during Stan Weaver's time. Stan, sorry about your luck, my friend. It's taken years to correct, and we're still not done. Then the challenge of COVID. What can we say about that one? Butch, that was your year. That was a tough year, Butch. The challenge of our long-term investments, the role of the Investment Oversight Committee was refocused, and additional accomplished investment minds were added to the committee. The IOC committee saw the need to onboard a new investment advisor, as well as redefining our investment goals. The recent accomplishments and the strategic focus of the IOC and the direction of the investment strategy could move the needle more for AQHA than any other recent successes. We considered a move to Fort Worth, consuming our time for years, but ultimately we reaffirmed our commitment to the city of Amarillo, and Amarillo reconfirmed their commitment to AQHA by providing considerable economic incentives of $300,000 per year for 10 years. Thank you, Amarillo. Then the challenge of losing our Executive Vice President, Craig Huffines. Thank you, Chad Pierce, for serving that year as our interim Executive Vice President. Chad, I will always remember your willingness to take the reins during that time and the peace you brought to the office. Thank you. Today we're financially healthy, but we still need to strengthen the internal finance team, including onboarding a new CFO. The recent formation of a finance committee to work in parallel with the executive committee will allow closer analysis of all financial parts, as well as overseeing the yearly auditing process. AQHA is in the initial process of migrating to a new financial operating system. This system will streamline and improve our processes. We are not at the finish line yet, but when we're done, we'll have a completely revamped and restructured, streamlined AQHA financial system. In my time, the executive committee has made hard decisions to make a path easier for those that come after us, guiding the association not only for success today, but for the future sustainable success of this organization. Our mission was always to preserve the history, but to serve and plan for future generations. And now as we look forward, the path seems brighter. And the new launch of My AQHA, this platform will be a game changer and allow members unparalleled functionality. And Carl Stressman. Carl joined our team and is an accomplished, charismatic cowboy, and now he holds the reins. Carl's brought peace to the AQHA building and unified the team. Carl is an iconic figure in our industry and will be one of the greatest ambassadors AQHA has ever had. Thank you, Carl. So future success will come from the continued continuity of the Executive Committee. It's been said that the EC seems to be populated with the right people at the right time to lead this organization, and that is so true. I assure you that the men in the front row here are committed. Your team of Ken Banks, Jim Hunt, Jeff Tebow, and Jim Brinkman are the right men to continue this success. The EC has made bold decisions, but this EC knows how to survive.
Know when to fold up, know when to walk away, know when to run.
And as you know, being on the AQHA EC is a big time commitment, and at times it can really wear you out. You can lose your energy, and I think the whole EC would agree with that.
I ain't as good as I once was. I got a few years on me now, but there was a time back in my prime when I could really lay it down.
So the EC does spend a lot of time away on AQHA business, and we all appreciate the unconventional support that our spouses give us. So on behalf of the EC, we appreciate those spouses standing by us.
Stand by your man and show the world you love them. Keep giving all the love you can.
Okay, where's Jana Trotter? Where's Jana? Where's Jana? Stand up. She's not going to stand up. Well, thank you, Jana, for creating those. So AQHA staff are certainly an important part of driving forward the decisions and the initiatives that you, the membership, want to see in motion. So let's take a moment and review where we've been in 2022. We'll start with animal welfare. Animal welfare, the department, led by Director of Breed Integrity, Animal Welfare and Education, Ward Stutz, was able to launch an innovative new testing procedure, performance alteration testing. This industry-funded project was launched at the AQHA World Show using thermography, palpation, and flexion to determine conformation alteration. The goal is to protect the integrity of our American Quarter Horse and ensure our horse is treated with dignity and respect. Moving forward, the goal is for the Animal Welfare Commission to fine-tune the testing program to meet the industry needs and protect the American Quarter Horse. Thank you, Ward. Foundation, Chris Seitz. The American Quarter Horse Foundation, led by Chief Foundation Officer Chris Seitz, capped off a great year. The foundation closed fiscal year 2022 with gifts and commitments up 38% from previous years. Total gifts of $1.7 million, up by almost $500,000. This is a dramatic increase even in these uncertain economic times and speaks to our memberships, their passion for the American Quarter Horse. The foundation is also focused on our youth, taking the opportunity to share the heart, mind, and spirit of the American Quarter Horse. This year, at the local level at home in Amarillo, at the American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame and Museum, through successful family days, renewed area school field trips, and the youth art show. And on a larger scale, the foundation received commitments to create or fully endow 9 additional scholarships benefiting AQHYA members and received seed funding to develop a youth and young adult educational endowment, which will provide perpetual support for educational programs that engage young people at varying ages. Thank you, Chris. International, Jamie Hughes. The International Department, led by Jamie Hughes, was able to successfully host on-site service events this year. 2 events were held this year with an incredible turnout and response, one in Germany and one in Mexico. They are planning to offer 3 events in 2023 due to the success of the events in 22. The team is also able to launch the new quarterly international affiliate newsletter. Thank you, Jamie. Member Experience, Tammy Canada. The Member Experience team, led by Registrar Tammy Canada, did some heavy lifting this year, catching up on your AQHA business. The backlog of registrations, which was previously over 100 days, was caught up, and now we have less than a 2-week processing time. The department was also able to restructure the phone system to have an actual human answer the phone in less than 1.5 minutes to assist our members. The Member Experience team also led the charge to host a job fair in Amarillo to bring in additional talented staff members to support our member needs. Thank you, Tammy. Member Programs, Karen McQuistion. Our Member Programs department, led by Karen, covers a lot of ground across different AQHA programs. The horseback riding program, after a 2.5-year hiatus, reinstated program rewards for members who reach hourly levels, and all thanks to corporate partner Cashel. In 2022, we logged a record number of ranching heritage breeders and a record number of ranching heritage challenges, up 20 plus from coast to coast across the U.S. To date, over 189,000 ranching heritage bred horses have been registered. Our professional horsemen expanded their mentorship outreach program so that all new professionals have a mentor assigned to help guide and advise them. Additionally, the groundbreaking Pro Horseman Business Academy continues its development. The first Pro Horseman Academy Symposium will be held in January 2024 at the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. And of course, we will celebrate our Breeder Recognition Program, which is recognizing the first ever 100-year breeders in AQHA history, King Rancher and the W.T. Wagner Estate. I hope you will all join us on Sunday evening and celebrate them at that time. Thank you, Karen. QData. QData, led by Robin Glenn, had more than 10,000 visitors in January on QStallions.com, which now features 324 stallions representing all events. Additionally, the launch of the new QData money earning leaderboards that covers all disciplines is planned for late March 2023. They were able to create more than 10,000 sale catalog pages generated by QData catalog builder customers, and over 1,200 new QData online record customers were registered in 2022. QData has significantly increased the amount of historical barrel racing data in the QData database, and roping data is growing at a dramatic pace. Thank you, Robin. Racing. Our racing department, led by Janet Van Beber, can report that the best news to date is the state of the market. The racing team has incentivized members to breed and raise racing American quarter horses, and the response is overwhelmingly positive. Compared to 2014 numbers, sale results for 2022 nearly doubled in all categories. Additionally, the number of American quarter horse races increased in 2022 to 6,626, compared to the previous year of 6,167. Total purses for our breed grew from $125 million in 2021 to over $143 million this year. In AQHA's flagship program for racing, the Bank of America Racing Challenge enjoyed growth too. Total enrollments in 2022 were 2,717, marking a 20% increase over last year. Thank you, Janet. Sales and marketing, Patty Tyberg. The sales and marketing department, led by Chief Marketing and Business Development Officer Patty Tyberg, continue to produce our two industry-leading publications, the American Quarter Horse Journal and the Quarter Horse Racing Journal. Our AQHA Championship Show sponsors were up some 26%, with a significant increase to the Level 1 sponsorship program. Patty's team was able to assist in increasing youth and adult membership counts year over year through a series of multi-channel promotions that included email, paid and organic social media, lead generation, web, and direct mail tactical executions. The team has also increased followers' engagements on all AQHA social media platforms and associated accounts, in addition to launching AQHA TikTok and an AQHA Showing Facebook page. Thank you. Our show department represents the widest reaching program area at AQHA, with direct or indirect involvement of over 100,000 members and a $10 million annual budget. 2022 marked a year of many milestones for the show team, including producing the largest L1 championship show in our association's history, Level 1 East in Wilmington, Ohio. Not to be outdone, the Versatility Ranch Horse World Show awarded over $300,000 in purse and prizes to 2,700 entries and 100 first-time participants in Guthrie, Oklahoma, highlighting AQHA's rich ranching heritage. Later in the summer, we celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Youth World Show in Oklahoma City, where 4,406 entries came from 39 states and 4 countries, came together for 2 weeks of fun and the chance to win the coveted Gold Globe. We awarded the first Youth World Show all around in AQHA history to much fanfare, highlighting the versatility of the American Quarter Horse. And then our own Super Bowl, the AQHA World Show, culminated the year in Oklahoma City as 281 first-time exhibitors and over 7,500 entries vied for ultimate bragging rights and the opportunity to be named AQHA World Champions. And the show team did not stop there. From a pandemic low of 1,400 approved shows, there was a renewed focus on rebuilding the sanctioned show program, and with affiliate support, that number grew to over 2,200 shows this past year. Thank you, Justin. So as I reflect and my time comes to a close, I look back and I think, why could we not have accomplished more? Well, the AQHA ship turns slowly, and we have to be content in knowing that the ship is turned. The challenge now is to keep the ship sailing in the right direction and never take a look off the horizon. I want to acknowledge 2 men that I've worked closest with: Norm Luba, who came immediately before me, and Ken Banks, who will follow me. These 2 dynamic powerhouses, the intensity and passion of Norm Luba, the intensity and passion of Ken Banks. How was I so fortunate to be sandwiched between these 2 great dynamic men? Thank you, guys. Now let's bring us back to reality. Let's take a minute here. Now, where's Lorraine Luba? Lorraine, would you stand, please? And where's Lena Banks? Lena, would you stand, please? So I can say to you ladies that after working with your husbands side by side for several years, I feel your pain. You know, staff has actually told me how much they appreciate me giving them a year's break between Norm and Ken. Seriously, 2 great men, 2 great leaders, and 2 great friends. Sincere thanks. So in closing, let me leave you with a few thoughts. We're finally getting AQHA back on track, and now together we must look to the future. And you know, when you turn this big AQHA ship around and set a new heading, suddenly the challenges are less and the opportunities appear. And as we look forward, we have to count our blessings and not focus on what we don't have, but focus on what we do have and what we intend to accomplish. If you look for opportunities, you will see them. And right now, the opportunities are everywhere. The horse business has never been this good. Ranching, racing, recreational riding, horse shows, wherever you look, we are strong. AQHA is strong. We have more opportunity today than we've ever had. Interest in the Western lifestyle is stronger than ever. Record prices at horse sales. Private treaty horses are selling higher than imaginable. Memberships are up. The indices we follow to gauge our industry are all showing upward trends. And we have the opportunity to expand our footprint in areas AQHA has never touched before. Opportunity will necessitate change. We must be willing and ready to adjust. Everyone here in this room, even with all your historic industry knowledge and experience, we all must embrace change. It's been said, the wise man knows when to pivot and take a new path. The unwise man stays on the same path and then complains about the rut. We cannot sit and talk about the way things were. We can't try to resurrect the old way. We can't stay on the same path and fall into the old rut. We all want success, and sitting next to you in this room today is someone who's invested a lifetime, someone with lifelong industry experience. Sitting next to you is someone with current high-level business knowledge. Sitting next to you is someone with passion. The future success of AQHA is sitting in this room today right next to you. And the recipe for success for all of us is to join together, combine our resources and our knowledge, and work side by side as a united AQHA team to preserve and protect our great American quarter horse and ensure that the passion and the lifestyle we all love is here for future generations, and make certain that AQHA remains the largest and greatest breed registry in the world. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Scott. You know, I've been there for 9 months, and I've had the opportunity to work with the CC, and if you think we agree all the time, you're dead wrong. But when the door opens, we're all on the same page. And Scott, you have produced a leadership that, you know, we can only follow up and hopefully make you proud of the things that you've done in the 5 years that you dedicated to the AQHA. It's a phenomenal experience, and I congratulate you on your leadership. So as a small token, because we're on budget, as a small token, and I mean a small token, of Scott's of our appreciation for the service that you have given to the AQHA, I would like to present you with this good-looking picture of you in the Ford truck. And I hope you can find. I hope Lovey will let you put this in the house. I'm off script. I hope Lovey will let you put this in the house somewhere.
Well, we covered the accomplishments of staff, but I would be remiss if I did not take a moment to recognize and thank the most important group of our industry, our AQHA volunteers. The definition of a volunteer is a person who voluntarily undertakes or expresses a willingness to undertake a service. Our association is full of members with a servant's heart and a willing attitude to go the extra mile to serve their fellow members and our beloved American quarter horse. This year, I want to take a moment to thank all of our AQHA volunteers, and I want to recognize 2 outstanding individuals today with this most valuable volunteer award. The heart of this recognition is to recognize an AQHA member who has gone above and beyond to serve the association and contribute to the improvement of the membership. I have 2 volunteers to recognize. First, I'd like to give the President's Volunteer Service Award to Sophie Lindholm. Sophie So, Sophie from the Danish Quarter Horse Association is a most valuable volunteer. Sophie is an outstanding volunteer for DQ, QHA, and AQHA membership. Sophie serves on the AQHA International Committee as an appointed international representative for Denmark. Sophie is currently serving in the Denmark Armed Forces. Among her many responsibilities, Sophie is an avid member of and was spokesperson for the American Quarter Horse in Denmark. She is the president of DQ-QHA and assists members with member experience processing, offering her time for free to complete all AQHA show approval paperwork to eliminate any complexity for her membership. And that's just scratching the top of her volunteer time for the American Quarter Horse Association community. Sophie? The second Presidential Volunteer Service Award goes to Abigail Pate Neesmith. Abigail says that AQHA is her home. Abigail served as the 2011-2012 AQHYA president. Prior to that, she served as a regional director for 3 years. Additionally, she was part of the inaugural class of the AQHA LEAD program, a young adult leadership program through the American Quarter Horse Association Foundation. Abigail is finishing her final year of service as the chair of the AQHA Youth Activities Committee. She travels frequently with her husband, professional golfer Matt Neesmith, and we're proud to recognize her as one of the most valuable volunteers this year. So thank you to each and every one of you who volunteer. Your work has not gone unnoticed, and AQHA appreciates you.
Now I really get to go off script? Oh well, I told you. So, I guess now it's my turn to stand up here and tell the truth about the last 9 months of my life. And it's been 9 months since I got to Amarillo, and it has certainly been an interesting 9 months. I'd like to take you through some of the things that that we have gone through and that we've learned, and a little vision of what the future looks like. Dr. Myers did a great job of really walking through the process. I want to talk a little bit about. I guess you all know that I have been referred to as a cowboy occasionally, and I take that as a compliment. I wish I was a better horseman, but they won't let me get on my horse anymore. They want me to work every day. So I probably won't ever get to be a better horseman. But, yeah, cute picture. So I'm not even going to tell you how old that picture is. But those of you that understand this will know that that picture was taken with a Kodak box camera. That was according to my dearly departed mother. That was Christmas Day, and that picture I was 14 months old, and that was the first quarter horse that I had the opportunity to get on. And the two things that remain from that picture are, absolutely love the American Quarter Horse, and that's exactly the way my hair looks today when I get out of bed. It's just a little different color is all it is. I've had the great opportunity to represent some really, really good brands, as Judy Wagner from Montana Silversmith indicated. I've had the real fortune to be in this business for 55 years and have the opportunity to meet some absolutely wonderful people. I can't tell you, well, I can tell you actually, and I will. The EC wasn't exactly forthcoming on what this job looked like. I'm just going to tell you right now. Yeah, that blasted Ken Blank said, hey, it's easy. Nothing to it, man. Just come to Amarillo. It'll be fine. We'll have fun. We'll laugh, And I said, okay, yeah, heck yeah, well, let's do it. So I'm fortunate enough to be married to this beautiful lady right here in the front row. She is, she's the rock. But we have, between the two of us, we have 8 children and 11 grandchildren. And we couldn't be any prouder to be parents and grandparents of those kids. They represent what's real in my life and really what's expected of me as a father and a grandfather. When the EC said, come to Amarillo, this is going to be fun, these are the last pictures of me roping that you'll ever see in your lifetime. I got one chance to rope in the Riata Buckle with Jim Brinkman, and he won a lot of money. But I am a team roper, and I love to rope, and I love to play golf. I'm not very good at it, but I really do love to play golf, and I have done neither since I've gotten to the AQHA, so I'm a little heartbroken over it. Look, I had a great opportunity in my lifetime to represent the greatest brands, where I was going with this before. I had the opportunity to work for one of the greatest iconic brands in the Western industry, in the Wrangler Group. I had a chance to go and have a 10-year run at the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. I got a chance to operate at the United States Team Roping Championships as a consultant. And to end my career at the AQHA is an honor and a pleasure to be part of this group, because the passion that I feel in this group is overwhelming at times. We had a meeting last night that was a wonderful meeting, and you just feel it. People just have it. The AQHA is meant to be exactly what I think we're heading for, and that is a passionate group of people that love the American Quarter Horse, that can interact with each other, and that can create a successful operation that you all can be proud of. The EC, like I mentioned before, they lied to me, so but I still like all of them. I really do. We have great meetings, and like I said, we do have the ability and the respect for each other to be able to disagree on some things. But when the door opens, I'm going to tell you what, those 5 guys are all on the same page, and we're all pushing for a better AQHA every time we meet. So thank you to the EC for the opportunity, and we'll keep heading in that direction. When I first got there in May, we took we have a senior staff meeting every Tuesday morning at 8:30. If Robin Brooks was in charge, we'd have it at 6:30, but I'm in charge, so it's 8:30. I can't tell you how how great it is to have a staff like we have at the AQHA. I don't think you know, because you're not there every day and you don't see the passion that they have, really what those people provide. But if you look at this, and Scott's touched on this staff piece, these are our senior staff leaders. These are the people that bring it every day at 8 o'clock in the morning. We are becoming a cohesive one person at a time, a band of people that are dedicated to the AQHA, dedicated to you as the members, and are slowly but surely changing the culture of the building at the AQHA. And I invite each and every one of you, if you're going down 40, and when you get to Quarter Horse Road or Drive, get off, come see us. I would love to walk you around the building and show you what we're trying to create within that building. And my thanks to each and every one of you. If you're part of the staff, I don't even like that word, but if you're part of that crew that are trying to make a difference in this organization, please stand up. You need to be recognized. The term rock star comes to mind when I see you all stand up. You know, I got there in May, and it was probably June, and I had a person confront me. I don't even remember where I was, maybe in Oklahoma City at an event. And somebody came up to me and said, "You're the new CEO of the AQHA," which is always kind of scary when somebody says that to you, because you don't know what the next phrase is going to be. So I'm like, maybe. And said, well, I'm going to tell you something, which, you know, when I was a commissioner of the PRCA, I got a lot of free advice. And it was worth every penny of it. So now I get lots of free advice about the AQHA. So this guy put his hand out and he said, your phone system sucks. I don't know how you can not agree with that. I just said, okay, yes, sir. He said, when did you get there? I said, May the 16th. He said, I've been on hold since then. So I said, you know, you're a bigger man than I am. We knew that, and we started hearing those things. And we got serious about listening to what was happening. And member experience and how we respond to our members is so important, because the first line of defense for the AQHA is when they pick that phone up and say, this is the AQHA, how can I help you? And Tammy Canada, my hat's off to you, my dear. So we took this guy, first of all, we checked to see if he really was on hold, and he wasn't. That was a lie. But what we did do was make some changes in the phone system that we have today. I was in South Dakota at their annual banquet and awards ceremony with the Hunts. And Frank and Robin Merrill were there with us, and we went to the annual meeting there, and Frank and I tag teamed them a little and took some questions at the end about whatever people wanted to speak about. And one of the complaints that came up was, you know what, we just feel like the phone system is not an effective tool for the AQHA. Well, I had a little insight that David and Tammy had kind of rigged this up so that by Wednesday we were going to have a live operator on the phone, not whatever robot that was answering it before. So this guy talked about the phone system, and I said, hey, do me a favor, just call us Wednesday, which I knew we would have a live operator on Wednesday. Just call me on Wednesday, and then call me back and tell me what you think. Well, he called on Wednesday, and was that the first day or the second day, I think, Tammy? This the first day? First day that we had gone live with a live operator on the phone, so when I contacted him back, and he talked to Jim also too after that, he was on the telephone for 7 minutes. He got 3 transactions done, and he talked to 3 different operators, and he said they were as courteous and kind as he's ever seen. So to the point of we are listening, we are trying to be better listeners. I think that our motto at the AQHA should be, we listen more and talk less. And that was a proof to people that called back and said the phone system, I was amazed at the phone system. I got a live operator on there. We have been, and if you look at the slide, the funny thing about that was once we implemented the live operators into this deal, there was a time when that's what the board looked like. That means that there was nobody on hold, and the longest time was obviously there was nobody on hold. But the facts were, we were a little unsure that this slide was right, so we had to call ourselves. So we called ourselves to figure out we were the only people on hold. But it was in fact accurate. So the phone system is better. Is it great? No. Are we investigating the opportunity to replace it, upgrade the phone system? Yes, we are. We have the approval of the EC to really look seriously at it. It was a problem. I get it. But we are working, I guess the point is we are working diligently to listen to what you have to say and then correct some of the issues that we have. You know that in January of 2022, we had 17,000. We were behind 17,000 transactions at the AQHA. 17,000. 4 months later, we were at 200 that are in the queue. We had taken things to a level because the people in that building took seriously the complaints that we heard. And they dove in and they said, we'll fix this. And they did. In fact, they did. And today, as you look at that slide, you can see from 17,000 throughout that to the end of the year in 2022, you can see the reduction that was in there. I know Scott touched on the job fair. You know, we got a 2% unemployment rate in the city of Amarillo, Texas. And that's a tough way to hire, particularly at an entry-level positions, because we can hire people. There are people out there to hire. But when we do hire them and expect them to do what we would like them to do, they have the ability to say, I don't want to do it that way. I'm going across the street and flip hamburgers. And that's exactly what 2% unemployment does. So again, Tammy Canada decided that she and Inget decided that they were going to have a job fair. We never had one in the city. We've never had a job fair in Amarillo. Surprisingly enough, but we never had a job fair in Amarillo. So they set up for a Saturday that we could have a job fair. They bought a little TV advertising time and were on the radio. And they only had 300 applications on that Saturday. And they had the opportunity to hire 26, are we 26 or 28? 26 people to fill the member experience, and actually a few people went to the Christie with your group. But the point is, we are in Amarillo, Texas. and we're going to take control of our environment in Amarillo, Texas. I keep telling them, the staff, we're going to be the highest paying entity in the city of Amarillo based on merit, not based on longevity, but based on production. We used to have a little cafeteria at the AQHA where our employees could go down there and get a little cold cut sandwich and a, burrito or whatever people eat for lunch. I don't eat lunch, so I don't know what they eat. But and Tammy came to me and said, we used to have a little lunchroom down here that created an atmosphere that was fun for the employees. And my response to her was, so why don't we have it now? She said, well, when we did, when we had to cut some expenses a few years back, that was one of the things that unfortunately we sacrificed. And I said, well then, I don't think we can afford not to have it. Can you break it even for me, Tim? And she said, yes, sir, I will break it even for you. I said, all right, here's the deal. Get them in here. Let's have a place where we can all gather, and let's charge our employees cost. So today at the AQHA, if you come in there at lunchtime, you'll see 45 or 50 people sitting in that little lunchroom eating salads and bologna sandwiches or whatever they eat, and you can buy a breakfast biscuit for $1.25. And that's what team building is all about. I was in there the other day, even though I don't eat lunch, and there was 40-some people in there, maybe 50 in there. We had to get more tables because we had too many people in there. And the IT people were sitting with the member experience people, and the member experience people were sitting with the Dame and other, with the show people, and vice versa. And very frankly, it was a great sight to see. The culture in the building, and I again encourage you to come there. The culture in the building has changed tremendously over the last 9 or 10 months. Don't take my word for it. Ask anybody that works there what it is, what it's about. The culture in the building produces a better workflow for the members of this association and and the people that work there. A job fair with 300 applicants in a town that has a 2% unemployment rate is unheard of, but we're going to make that thing the best that we can. As a matter of fact, there are a couple of things that we are looking for. There's a bug somewhere right here. I've got Tammy looking into the possibilities of opening a daycare center at the AQHA. Because I think the line of possible new employees will be around the building if people can care about their children and work at a place that cares about their children and their families. So we are all on board. I can't guarantee you that that's going to happen because there are some hoops that we have to jump through, but we are attempting to, in fact, continue to promote and support the people that want to work for us. All right, that's enough of that stuff. We'll go into, here's some statistics for you, which if you'll look at this deal, we'll run through those quickly. I know do I need to get the hook? Am I over my limit on time? Atta girl. That's what I love about you. You can look at the stallion breeding reports. I'm not going to go through those things. You can all see that. That'll be available for you. Skip on just a little bit if you don't mind. Yeah. So when we got there in May, we had a senior staff meeting, and within a couple of weeks of that happened, we challenged our senior staff to come back with 2 initiatives, each one of them 2 initiatives from the departments, and tell us what was wrong with the AQHA from their perspective. And we began to look seriously at the initiatives that we needed to take care of first, and then we canvassed those senior staff members to tell us what we needed to do, and we allowed ourselves 2 initiatives, not 10. If I had 10 initiatives in that building, we'd be sitting here talking about nothing because we wouldn't have accomplished one thing. So smaller initiatives, complete those initiatives, go on to the next initiatives, put them in priority, hold yourself accountable, publish those initiatives on the website so that you as members can get on there and go, wait a minute here, you guys didn't do what you were supposed to do. We absolutely welcome that kind of criticism because you won't be able to make it with the team that we have. They will be far ahead of the initiatives that are on there. But one of them was the culture of the building. It's so important what goes on inside that building to what goes on outside that building and what you all see as your AQHA. So we're moving on with the next set of initiatives. They will be published. We will be glad to discuss it with you. Like I said, we need to listen a little more than we need to talk. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. Our youth programs, that is so important to the future of the AQHA, I can't tell you. And you know this. You know that every one of these people that are sitting out here that support the AQHA as sponsors understand the importance of youth. There's not a group out here that doesn't need the next generation of consumers. And we are responsible for the AQHA and how we address our youth. And gratefully, the EC has, all of them have the same feelings about what we need to do with our youth. Girls, you know what? You're on stage because that's the way it's going to be. These guys have committed to a youth program that will continue to keep the pipeline flowing, because I've been around long enough to know if that pipeline starts to trickle, you are in very, very serious trouble, and we are not going to allow that to happen. So our investment in the youth program is going to be strong. It's strong on the 2023 budget, which has been approved by the EC, and it is one of the main initiatives that we have. My AQHA, is that where I'm going? Yeah. My AQHA is set up live outside here in the lobby. I encourage you to stop by. Our IT department is here. Where's David? Is he out there? Oh, there he is in the back there. So if you want to blame somebody, he's the guy. Stand back up. There he is. No blame. Superstar. Really. We do have a GoFundMe page for our IT department, by the way. If anybody wants to make a contribution, you know, he's not a profit center, but he's a wonderful man, and he's got a great crew back there. But AQHA, my AQHA is out there, so please take the opportunity to stop, take a look at it. We are going to be up and going, and you are going to have the ability to get on my AQHA and produce. And it's easy and it's simple, and we will in fact follow through on the My AQHA, but stop out there and get a little tutorial as what's going on that deal. The website, I have a friend, a dear friend of mine. Her name is Pam Minnick. I think you probably recognize that name. She's one of the all-time great Western commentators and does a lot of TV, and she's just a wonderful friend. As a matter of fact, I think the last time I roped, which is 7 or 8 years ago, we won the Red Steagle, Pam Minnick and I. So, you know, I mean, how much better does it get to win with Pam Minnick? She now is showing horses in ranch versatility, and she is a huge, huge supporter of the AQHA, and she is, again, she's a dear friend and has been for a long, long time. So she sent me a text. I won't put it up there because of the language, but she sent me a text about, I don't know, a couple months ago, Al. And she said, I don't know if you're responsible for this, but the changes on the website are phenomenal. We can now operate through the website. It's simple. It kind of tells its own story, and man, that was really cool. So of course I wrote back, well, hell yes, I was responsible for it. I actually did it all myself. I mean, I went out to David's office and pushed him out of the way and said, look, let me have it. I can handle this deal. And then he showed me how to turn the deal on, and that was, but the great thing about it was she sent back to me on the text a capital B and then 6 little dots and then a capital T and then an exclamation point. I said to Al, see what she wrote? Brilliant. Al said, there's not enough letters to be brilliant. I'm like, oh, let me count those again. So that was B, U, L, L. What in the world is she talking about? So I think what her comment was, she wasn't buying my comment. I'm just going to go on record to tell you that. But a great example of somebody who now is participating with us in the AQHA and loves what she's doing. So the 2023 initiatives, we will publish it. We will be responsible. Again, it's my honor to be standing up here today. I appreciate you all. We're going to work hard for you, I promise you that. Thank you very much. All right. Hey, how's it going? Okay, I think we're going to the financial report. Scott brought you all up to speed as far as the financial report goes. I think I don't think there's any secrets that we have had a few issues on financial reporting and some of the things that we've done over the last whatever period of time you want to say. We've had some interesting things go on at the AQHA. I can assure you that we are in very good shape, and I think you can you hit that next one? There you go. We are in excellent shape at the AQHA. We do not have an audited statement as of today. We probably missed it by 24 or 48 hours, but we don't. It will be published, obviously. We are proud of the opportunities and proud of the things that we are doing financially at the AQHA. We're going to be in a position where the EC is going to have to make some decisions on how they're going to how we're going to spend our money next year, which is a really nice thing for them to have happen. We have a group in there, Steve Stevens, who is a past president, and most of you know. We've got a high-powered group that has been in there looking at things over the last period of time, and they will in fact instruct us as to what the next move is on that. There's no issues on finances, so I want everybody just to relax. There's no issues. We'll make sure that the IOC and the EC and the new financial committee that Scott referred to, it'll help. It'll help a lot, and we will not be here at the convention next year without an audited statement. That I will guarantee you. But we're in very good shape, and we have a 2023 budget that's been approved by the EC, and it's a strong budget. And again, these are things that you will see over the course of the next few months, and that we don't have anything to worry about. We have things to be proud of as far as what we've done financially at the AQHA and what this EC board has done. So that's where we're going to go. And now let's recognize the 2023 Directors Emeriti. Dr. Myers, you will be in the photos, please, sir. Let's begin with the 2023 Directors Emeriti who are with us today. The Director Emeritus position was established to honor directors who have served 10 cumulative years as the AQHA Director and are at least 65 years old. Please come to the stage as I call your name. Miss Connie Armstrong from Bismarck, South Dakota, served as the Show Pro, the Pro Horse and Amateur Committees, and is currently serving on the Show Committee. Let's give Connie her congratulations, please. Connie. Darlene Chase of Lewiston, Idaho, has served on the Recreational Activities Committee and currently serves on the AQHA Show Committee. Carol Cooper of Stanton, California, has dedicated her time serving as the AQHA Racing Committee. Mary Ebner of Holdford, Minnesota, has served as the Hall of Fame Committee. She currently serves on the Public Policy Committee. Dr. Eleanor Green, Millsap, Texas, has served as the Animal Welfare Commissioner and the Equine Research and Public Policy Committees. Dr. Green currently serves as the Animal Welfare Grievance and Ranching Committees. Larry Janes of Burnett, New York, served on the Show Pro Horse and Amateur Committees. Larry currently serves as on the Show Committee and the Affiliate Advisory Board. And now let's recognize our 2023 Directors at Large. Please come to the stage as your name is called. Kate Bramford. How's that? Good? Of Foothills, Alberta, has served as the Show Pro Horse and Amateur Committee. She currently serves on the Show Committee. Cal Brantz. Involvement in the AQHA includes having served as the Show Pro Horse and Amateur and the Youth Activities Committee. Cal is from Anthony, New Mexico, and currently serves on the Show Committee. Doug Brown of Paso Robles, California. Doug has served on the Show Pro Horse and Amateur Committees and on the Affiliate Advisory Board. Doug is currently on the Show Committee. Michelle Fornes of St. James, Missouri, served on the Show Pro and Amateur Committees and the Affiliate Advisory Board. She currently devotes her time to serving on the Show Committee and the Show Council. Tyler Graham of Eldon, Texas, currently serves on the Stud Book and Registration Committee. John Kunkel serves on the Show Pro Horse and Amateurs, the Marketing and Membership Committees. John currently serves on the Show Committee and is from Cross, South Carolina. Ruth McDonald Gates of Great Falls, Montana, has served on the Affiliate Advisory Board. She has now devoted much of her time to nominations and credential committees where she currently serves. Steve Meadows of Virginia has served on the Animal Welfare Commission, Pro Horse Council, Hall of Fame Selection, Grievance and Show Pro Horse and Amateur Committees. He currently serves on the AQHA Show Committee and Show Rules Violation Committee. Randy Ratliff of Greensboro, North Carolina, is currently the chair of the Nominations Credential Committees. He served on the Affiliate Advisory Board, Show Pro Horse and Amateur, and the Show Committee. Anna Riggs Eder of Moriarty, New Mexico, has devoted her service to the Public Policy Committee. Joan Schroeder of Gainesville, Texas, has served on the Professional Horsemen's Committee. She currently serves on the Stud Book and Registration Committee. Sarah Shoemake Doles of St. Louis, Missouri, has served on the Amateur and the Hall of Fame Selection Committees. She currently serves on the Judges Committee. Marty Semper of Elwood, Utah, served on the Show Recreational Activities, the Show Pro Horse and Amateur Committees, and the Animal Welfare Commission. He currently serves on the Nominations and Credentials Committee. Executive Committee member, Mr. Jeff Tebow of Piedmont, Oklahoma, has served on the Stud Book and Registration, Hall of Fame Selection and Grievance Committees. Jeff is also serving on the Race Committee and the Race Council. Once again, congratulations to each of our 2023 Directors Emeriti and Directors at Large. Thank you all for what you have done and continue to do for the AQHA. Let's give them all one more round of applause, please. Before we move on, I think it's appropriate to take this moment to remember our friends who have passed away since the last convention. These individuals truly made an impact on our industry and will be greatly missed. The American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame member, Charles Bubba Cascio of Texas. He was inducted into the American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame in 2008. He is also in the Texas Cowboy, Texas Horse Racing, Ruidoso Horse Racing, and National Cutting Hall of Fame. AQHA past president, Dr. Glenn Blodgett. A man of few words, there were times when he expressed himself that was extremely meaningful to those on the receiving end. An AQHA past president, American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame member, Doc left behind a legacy that helped write the history books for the 4-6s Ranch and the American Quarter Horse. AQHA past president, Martin Clark of California. He was elected as an AQHA director in 1968 and served on various committees for 54 years and was AQHA's longest tenured committee member. AQHA past president Rick Johns of Arizona. He was elected as the 34th president of the AQHA in 1984 and was known to be the members' president. Rick was inducted into the American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame in 1997. AQHA Director Emeritus Tom Bivens of Texas was the son of a pioneering Panhandle family, and he devoted his life to his friends, his family, and his community. His passion for ranching and his family leaves a mark on our industry. AQHA Director Emeritus of South Dakota, Michael Kleitz, was deeply involved in the South Dakota Quarter Horse Association. He served as the president and held various board positions on the local and national level. AQHA Director Emeritus Don Clark of Iowa served as an AQHA and APHA judge for over 30 years and was an AQHA National Director from 1985 to March of 1998. When he was elevated to Director Emeritus, he was as a driving force behind the ranch riding movement and a cowboy at heart. American Quarter Horse Honorary Vice President and Judge Jerry Daniels. Jerry was a professional horseman serving in a multitude of organizations and traveling throughout the world judging and evaluating horses. American Quarter Horse and famed member Hawaiian Royal Highness Abigail. Okay, on three. 1, 2, 3. Tell me. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I should have done better. Miss Abigail bred her first quarter horse in 1980, and the horses she bred have earned more than $10.5 million, putting her among the all-time leading breeders. Among her elite breeding stock of Trippy Dip, who stands alongside her in the American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame. Director Emeritus Sam Rose of Texas, renowned professional horseman, judge, and all-around horseman, left a legacy across the world. He served as the head of the National Cutting Horse Association Judges Department and was part of various committees across the industry. Hall of Famer Buster Welsh of Texas. His accomplishments, connection, personality contributed to the status as one of the preeminent figures in the Western American culture. He was inducted into the National Cutting Horse Association Hall of Fame, the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame, the American Quarter Horse Association Hall of Fame, won the Foy Proctor Memorial Cowman's Award, the Golden Spur Award, the Western Horseman Award, the Charles Goodnight Award, and a host of other awards and honors. Please join me in a moment of silence to honor these individuals along with all of our family, friends, and devoted horses who passed away since our last convention. Thank you all. And now the allocation of directors for 2023. The AQHA's allocation of directors is based on the total number of living horses as of September 30th, 2022, which was 2,995,121. Per the AQHA bylaws, this resulted in 170 director positions broken down as 148 representative districts that have a major portion of the horse population factor, 5 positions for representative districts, that have been granted the opportunity to take advantage of the 25% rule, and the 17 positions for international countries that have been granted the opportunity to take advantage of the 5% rule. Unfilled vacancies exist in California, Idaho, Maine, Maryland, pardon me, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, Virginia, West Virginia, Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Australia, Colombia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Slovenia, there you go, Sweden, Switzerland, United Kingdom, China, Japan, New Zealand, South Africa, Spain, Hungary, and Finland. In addition to the annual elected directors, there are 21 past presidents, 31 honorary vice presidents, 94 directors at large, and 62 directors emeriti. The elevation of 2023 director emeriti and 2023 directors at large left the following vacancies: 2 open positions in California, 1 open position in Idaho, 1 in Minnesota, 1 in Missouri, 1 in Montana, 2 in New Mexico, 1 in New York, 1 in North Carolina, 1 in North Dakota, 1 in Oklahoma, 1 in South Carolina, 3 in Texas, 1 in Utah, 1 in Virginia, and 1 in Alberta. The resignation of Wanda Launder was left a vacancy in Maryland. Scott Myers is elevated to past president, also vacated a position in Ohio. At this time, I welcome AQHYA President Andrea Totten to the stage for the youth report and to see what the AQHYA Executive Committee and directors have accomplished since they took office in 2022 at the Youth Excellence Seminar. Ms. Totten.
I'll try. Thank you, Carl. I started taking horseback riding lessons when I was 10. Only 8 years ago, I swung my leg over an American quarter horse for the first time, and the rest is history. Now, I was not a natural rider by any means. I was tall, uncoordinated, and feel. I had none of that. But with the dedication and perseverance of my trainer, I was able to flourish into the horsewoman I am today, exploring experiences and facets of the horse industry that I could have only dreamed of 8 years ago. My name is Adriana Totten, and I'm currently serving as your 2022 to 2023 AQHYA president. When I was 13, my family and I got our first quarter horse cruiser, and it wasn't long until I began competing at AQHA shows as well. What really jump-started my leadership journey, though, was attending my first Region 5 conference in 2018. I was exposed and educated on the opportunities that this association had to offer me, and I took full advantage of it. After exploring leadership on the state level, I was elected to Region 5 Director in 2020, second Vice President in 2021, and was elected President this past summer. It was surreal, a dream come true, and I'm truly so grateful for the experiences that I have had through the American Quarter Horse. Since then, the quarter horse has become such an integral part of my life, and I am so blessed and grateful that it has. Now, fast forward to this past fall, where I spent 3 months studying abroad in Thessaloniki, Greece with Northeastern University, 4,500 miles away from my family, friends, and even more tragically, my horses. And let me tell you, the horse withdrawal was real. You would think that out of the 300 kids in my program, that at least one would either ride, have, or show horses, but no. I didn't realize how much I just missed talking horse. Now, as any horse girl would, I went to Italy. There, I had the honor of meeting with the Italian Quarter Horse Association, getting the opportunity to explore Venice, tour 2 quarter horse facilities in Udine, and meet a lot of Italian youth. And most importantly, I was finally able to talk horse once again. Thanks to Cristina Casagrande, who graciously hosted me in their country, I was able to gain this incredible experience. I was also able to share a brochure that I had made with the programs that were specifically available to international youth members, as well as get a first-hand report of the issues that they were facing as an affiliate, something that I shared with our international department back in Amarillo, Texas. I was even more excited to hear that some of the youth I spoke to will be representing Team Italy at the American Quarter Horse Youth World Cup, an event that we are ecstatic to see return to the United States this summer in conjunction with the Youth Excellence Seminar. At the end of my trip, I put together an international spotlight to highlight Italy's youth and accomplishments, and it was posted on our official AQHYA Instagram. The International Committee and I have continued with these international conversations, virtually meeting so far with Ontario Quarter Horse and Australia Quarter Horse, and we're looking forward to a lot more. Also highlighting them on our social media. This alone has opened up communication where we're able to share our experiences and educate international members on how they can get even more involved. You might be surprised to know that out of our 36 international affiliates and 9 provincial affiliates, we have a combined 1,647 youth, 10% of our total youth membership. So it's imperative that these youth stay in the forefront of our minds. As my time in Italy showed me, they are just as passionate about the quarter horse as we are in the United States. Now, I have the utmost pleasure of working with some of the best and brightest AQHA youth in the country. And our national board consists of 5 officers and 21 regional directors for the 2022 to 2023 year. The leadership team chairs and serves 5 youth committees, of which I chair the International Committee, and the other committees have certainly accomplished incredible things this past year. Seeing a need to include youth members from similar industry organizations, the Outreach Committee tasked themselves with reaching out to local FFA and 4-H chapters to talk about AQHYA leadership and opportunities outside of the show pen, like horse judging contests and public policy contests. Serving as ambassadors for our association throughout the duration of their term, the Outreach Committee members aid in education and understanding of our purpose and opportunities with non-equine associated youth. While celebrating the 50th anniversary Youth World Show, the committee hosted a successful dance, an event our exhibitors look forward to every single year. This past summer, we continued to see a high number of horses and entries. We saw the implementation of class jackpots and the first AQHYA World Show All-Around and Reserve All-Around Awards, following successful rule change proposals carried forward by one of our own Executive Committee members, Cindy Sargent. The Youth World Show Committee is currently working on improvements to the dance, including fundraising for more refreshment options, and they also plan to incorporate a costume contest into the parade of teams. The Community Service Committee was able to put together a sock drive at the Youth World Show, collecting around 300 pairs of socks and raising $600 to City Rescue Mission of Oklahoma City. Last summer, committee members facilitated not 1, not 2, but 3 community service projects at our annual Youth Excellence Seminar, benefiting a local assisted living facility, the Amarillo Panhandle Humane Society, and the United States military. The committee plans to build the service project hosted during the Youth World Show to a year-round effort, hosting sock drives not only at the Youth World Show, but also at the Arizona Sun Circuit, the Madness, Premier, and Big A. Last summer, members of the Public Policy Committee, along with youth officers, traveled to Washington, D.C. for our annual incredible trip on Capitol Hill, lobbying for equine and industry-related legislation. In fact, one of the pieces of legislation that we actively lobbied for was recently passed, the PAST Act, and it's something that we're incredibly excited about, both as a committee and as an industry. We were able to meet with organizations including the National Grange, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, heard about ASPCA's horse adoption programs, attended the American Horse Council annual meeting, and met with a plethora of lawmakers. Overall, we met with 14 lawmakers and their staff from both the House and the Senate. The committee is currently working on infographics to share on social media in an effort to educate and spread awareness on legislation, rules, and regulations affecting the industry. One of our first initiatives as a youth board is deciding on the message that we want to send to our youth members and to the association as a whole. What are our goals? How do we want to portray ourselves to the over 17,000 youth members that we're tasked with representing? After a lot of deliberation, our board's mission statement surrounds the idea of current involvement, opportunities, and most important to me, inclusion. Calling back to the ideas and feelings from that initial discussion, we hit the drawing board to tease out the undertones that we wanted to see for this year's 2023 theme. When brainstorming the feelings that we wanted this theme to evoke throughout 2023, the feelings of inspiring, warm, and urgent were three that came up time after time. We wanted something that would uplift our youth, yes, but also push them to succeed and for them to start their journey now, resulting in the theme, Our Time is Now. With a limited youth career capped at 18 years old, we want to encourage our youth to capture and make most of the time that they have. I've had a front row seat watching our current leaders influence and drive the entire industry forward, and they just so happen to be youth members. As I enter and finish out my last youth year, I have never felt this theme more, and I'm grateful that I've taken advantage of AQHYA's opportunities through my 3 years serving in national leadership by declaring our 2023 theme, Our Time is Now. Speaking of recognizing our current youth leaders, working closely with the foundation, we were once again able to award 2 youth members with the Youth Activities Scholarship during the 2022 Youth World Show. From what I hear, the Foundation's Youth Scholarship Funds also celebrated significant growth this year. On behalf of our youth, I want to say thank you for believing in us now while we work towards our future. Also, thanks to support from the Foundation, AQHA's online education platform, AQH Learn, will be undergoing improvements this year, including rebranding and new member-only content. Fundraising efforts toward youth programs and scholarships have led the association to create the inaugural AQHA Golf Classic, held in conjunction with the Hall of Fame celebration this fall. So be sure to grab a save the date from the registration desk while you're here. When it comes down to it, we're all connected by innate shared passion and love for the American Quarter Horse. Many of you have made this passion your career, some as a result of a wonderful hobby, and others as a way to find comfort and relaxation. Regardless, it's something that holds us all together, and it's a passion that we will use to foster the next generation of horsemen and women and continue to maintain the integrity and welfare of this incredible breed. I and many others from this association have learned key values in responsibility, maturity, hard work, and sportsmanship. Learning to handle the wins and losses with humility and grace, learning to deal with the adaptability and unpredictability that comes and is required when working with animals, and developing impeccable sportsmanship are common lessons that every single AQHA youth has experienced. It's the community and these horses that build our youth into the ambitious, determined, and hard-working group that they are. Our youth are special. They're not only our future, but they're also our present. Positive change will not occur when pushed to the foreseeable future, so our time is now. To continue working towards our goals, taking steps in achieving the perceived impossible, and truly making a difference. Thank you to everyone in this room for the part that you have played in this industry, association, and community. I know I speak on behalf of all youth membership when I say that we appreciate every single one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Totten. One statistic that you probably haven't heard since you've been here at the convention is last year, of the attendance that was here, we had 32 from our youth division that were registered here. This year, it's over 70. So something's working, and that's a great statistic. At this time, I'd like to call Abigail Pate Naismith to the stage. Here she is, AQHA lead presentation.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce to you the third class of the AQH Lead program. These 10 outstanding young adults were selected for their impressive leadership qualities and their commitment to AQHA and this industry. The foundation and AQHA believe in building a legacy of leadership in our young people, and AQH Lead is focused on doing just that. Thanks to AQH Lead's primary underwriter, the Dogwood Foundation, AQH Lead participants are able to deepen their leadership experiences as the future of AQHA and the horse industry through mentorship, industry travel, and career skills. The 2023 class of AQH Lead participants will spend the coming months participating in webinars with industry experts, traveling to events to broaden their experiences, and working with mentors to gain experience and insights. Today, we're very pleased to have the 2023 class here to celebrate these future leaders of this industry. Presenting for us today is Foundation Council Chair Dan Henson. On behalf of the American Quarter Horse Foundation and AQHA, we would like to present the class of 2023 with plaques honoring their participation in this program. Please welcome Aislinn McStay from Liberty, Texas. And then Aislinn, just stay on stage. We're going to do a group photo after. Arizona Parker from Cave Creek, Arizona. Kelsey Crabtree from Delia, Kansas. Chloe Benning of Katy, Texas. Claire Lee from McAllen, Texas. Coy Herbert of Whitakers, North Carolina. Mallory McEwen of Beaufort, Ontario. Mary Claire Cornett of Purvis, Mississippi. Trinity Packard from Slatington, Pennsylvania. And Tommy Ratliff from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, who was not able to be with us today, but let's give him a round of applause. Where do you want us? Okay, perfect. Do we want to do that? Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you all for your time and commitment to AQHA and the American Quarter Horse industry. Now, we're so pleased to present to you the remarkable honorees of a special, new, and some might say overdue award. We're very proud of this award, and it's taken a lot of people, so bear with us for a minute. We're pretty excited. The AQHA Emerging Leader Award recognizes young adults achieving an elite level of professional success, contributing to their communities, and transforming the horse industry. This award is just the latest part of a young adult initiative spearheaded by the Youth Activities Committee and Youth Department staff, and we are so grateful for the enthusiastic response we've received in forming this award. The selection committee for the Emerging Leader Award was faced with the very, very, very difficult task of selecting honorees from a remarkable group of nominees. We are honored to acknowledge and celebrate these incredible people. With that, please help me welcome to the stage these AQHA Emerging Leaders. From Parker, Colorado, Ashley Baller. Ashley has already accomplished 2 life goals, obtaining her dream job of working in the International Department of AQHA and serving as Miss Rodeo Colorado 2022 while at AQHA. Ashley put her multilingual talents to work developing resources that improved how international members do business with the association. During her reign as Miss Rodeo Colorado, Ashley also competed for the coveted title of Miss Rodeo America, where she finished in the top 5. Throughout everything, Ashley brings a passion for youth education by creating outreach programs, leading multilingual clinics, and empowering grassroots advocacy. In her own words, to best serve others, you must do so with a sincere heart. Congratulations, Ashley. Our next emerging leader is Christian Jontig from New City, New York. Coming from a 4-H background, Christian continues to support the grassroots side of the industry. With a passion for event and show management, Christian saw opportunities to develop his skill set, leading him to found Top Line Event Management. Christian has grown his business and reputation through gratitude, respect, and success. As expressed by AQHA Judge April Devitt, when I think of a leader and what that means, I think of words like empathy, integrity, accountability, passion, motivation, and confidence, to name a few. All are words that I would use to describe Christian. Congratulations. Gary Hawks from Aurora, Colorado. Gary Hawks has shown youth leadership and mentorship since he himself was a youth. Early in his career path, mentors recognized Gary's drive and determination, leading him to work with both our association and AQHA Professional Horsemen. Gary currently holds the position of Vice President of Marketing at the National High School Rodeo Association, where he makes an impact by growing partnerships and awareness of Western sports. Gary is a role model for upcoming youth because he proves that you can rise above adversity and work hard while staying humble and grateful. Congratulations, Gary. Next is Kaylee Cipher from Bryan, Texas. You never know what you can do if you don't try and go for it, is Kaylee Cipher's everyday motto. Kaylee has gone for it her whole life, from 4-H involvement to affiliate leadership in Mississippi, and culminating her youth career as AQHYA president. Kaylee went on to be a team captain at Texas A&M University, was an All-American athlete, and was named the 2017 NCEA National Champion Most Outstanding Player. Starting her career as a high school ag teacher, Kaylee influenced her students with her principles and her drive for excellence. Now serving as the Director of Operations for the equestrian team at Texas A&M, She leads with the welfare of the horse foremost and inspires student athletes with her example every day. A passionate advocate and promoter of AQHA, someone who leads by her principles and her passion, we are proud to recognize Kaylee. Sophie Lindholm from Aarhus, Denmark. Some leaders have a global impact, and Sophie Lindholm is already one of those. Sophie currently serves as the president of the Danish Quarter Horse Association, making her the youngest affiliate president in AQHA history. From her early involvement with the DKQHA, Sophie's dedication to the industry and her talents were undeniable. Supporting Denmark's equine industry as a whole, Sophie not only lends her time and talent on the quarter horse front, but also volunteers at a variety of open and breed shows. An advocate for young leadership, she encourages other young individuals that they are absolutely needed and can be influential in affiliate and association work. For her leadership, commitment, and accomplishments, Sophie is an AQHA Emerging Leader. Congratulations. We'd also like to take a moment to recognize our honorees who were not able to be here today. Kylie Good from East Berlin, Pennsylvania. Morgan Pennington from Cheyenne, Wyoming. And Tim Ketterman from Mount Hope, West Virginia. This weekend, if you see these awesome people around, please congratulate them personally. This has just been such a rewarding thing to be a part of, and it's really exciting to see all these people recognized for their hard work and dedication to what we all love. And with that, on behalf of the Youth Activities Committee and members of the Young Adult Task Force, I thank you, and I thank AQHA leadership for their continued support of our young adult initiatives. Thank you. But that's not all for me. I'm sorry. A little bit more. As Adriana mentioned before, we are really excited to announce our inaugural AQHA Golf Classic fundraiser. Surprisingly, this did not come as an idea from me. I have plenty of golf in my life now, but I'm very excited about it. We will be having this event Friday, September 15th in Amarillo, and it will be run in conjunction with the Hall of Fame induction and reunion celebration that weekend. The tournament will benefit AQHA youth programs and the Foundation's Youth Endowment. And, you know, in this Golf Classic, it's not going to be just a regular tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of camaraderie, and probably some golf games that could get a little Western, I hear. But you'll also be supporting AQHA and the Foundation and our amazing youth, so we thank you for that. And please swing by the registration desk. There is a little cutout right there with all the details so we can get you signed up. And finally, before I bid you all adieu, we are thrilled to host the Young Alumni Party again tonight. It's at 5 p.m., and we hope you join us. It's a fun time, whether you're a past AQHYA or AJQHA member, please join us. And if you're also part of that young adult group, please join us. We'll have these awesome alumni pins there, so please pick one up and wear it with pride. And we look forward to seeing you this weekend. Everybody have a good day.
Okay, finally, an excuse to play golf. Great. Should have more tournaments, Abigail. Okay, now it's my pleasure to invite the Foundation Council Chair, Mr. Dan Henson, to the stage. Dan?
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Carl. I just have to say, what an amazing presentation from some wonderful, wonderful youth members. And I'd just like us to take a minute to recognize both Adriana and Abigail for the job that they have done and thank them. You all are amazing, amazing individuals, and we appreciate you from the bottom of our heart. So as Carl said, my name's Dan Henson, and it is an absolute honor and privilege for me to serve as the chair of the American Quarter Horse Foundation. I'd first like to introduce our Board of Trustees as well as our Foundation Council team members who serve as our governing bodies. Please stand and be recognized. Dr. Scott Myers. He must have stepped out. Mr. Ken Banks. Mr. Jim Hunt. Thank you, Jim. Mr. Jeff Tebow, who also serves on the Foundation Council. Mr. Jim Brinkman. Jim, thank you. Miss Robin Merrill. Hey, Robin. Miss Catherine Nicholas. Thank you, Catherine. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Larry Bell, who could not be with us today. However, he will be with us tomorrow, and we're really looking forward to him. Foundation Council members, Miss Lena Banks. Miss Nadine Lipson, who could not be with us today. Dr. Grant Rezebek. Doc, where you at? Thank you, sir. Miss Catherine Simmons. Miss Kathy Headley. There she is. Hey, Kathy. Miss Kelly K. Johnsrud. Hey, Kelly. Mr. Tom Crowley, he could not be with us today, and we are sending him the best thoughts and prayers. Miss Anita Horn. And finally, Miss Carlene Taylor. I cannot thank you all enough for your hard work and your dedication on behalf of the horses and people served by the foundation. Thank you. So I'd like to kick off the presentation with a few financial highlights. It's really interesting. It's one of the things that's rather boring, but it's super, super important. So what we look at is kind of a scorecard for how all charitable foundations are held accountable to, both by the IRS and its donors. And what's interesting is it's the proof that your investment in the foundation is a good decision, and you can be proud of how your gifts are stewarded. Our functional expense ratio that shows the vast majority of your dollars goes straight toward supporting our programs. In fact, 87% for fiscal year 2022 expenses went directly toward those programs, and that's something to be extremely proud of. Our fundraising efficiency metric is also extremely strong. It costs about 6 cents to raise every dollar. And again, these are things that are held accountable to for all foundations. And finally, the breakdown on the right shows that the endowments by funds. And this relies heavily, we rely heavily, on endowment growth to help fund these initiatives and currently manage approximately 50 funds, supporting scholarships, supporting grants, supporting the Hall of Fame, education, and operations. So definitely a good news financial story overall, and thank you all for your steadfast support. So now I'll transition to a little bit of a broader subject, and that's the foundation in general. It's really interesting. I often get asked, what is the foundation? And I always look at it as paying tribute to our past while investing and honoring our present and our future. Our past, the Hall of Fame, the horses and people that have helped create, help grow, help transform the quarter horse industry. In just a bit, we'll be announcing our newest nominees, our class of 2023, and sharing some details about a not-to-be-missed event in September. And I'm really looking forward to today's event with Dr. Scott Myers and Miss Lena Banks, honoring and showcasing our honorees. So we talked about our past, our present, equine-assisted activities and therapies. This one is really, really important. We ensure that differently abled individuals experience the freedom and life-changing benefits that come from riding and interacting with the American Quarter Horse. And it's people of all ages, from soldiers adjusting to life after serving our beautiful country, to children finding the magic of the American Quarter Horse, all finding their place and their comfort, encouraged and empowered by the American Quarter Horse. While they are in their presence, they are free. The foundation is also in charge with ensuring that the future is bright for our horses and our people who are lucky enough to serve time with them. Our investments in the future are twofold. One, equine research, and two, scholarships. Equine research sponsored by the foundation continues to have an impact on equine health and welfare worldwide. I have a couple of recent examples because people always say, you don't always see what's happening. And they gave me a couple of real examples to use. One was an equine influenza study funded in 2020 that was performed by the University of Kentucky and addressed possible virus mutation. And the virus mutation could reduce the effectiveness of the equine influenza vaccine. Dr. Thomas Chambers and his group actually demonstrated that, in fact, variations to the virus were neutralized by current antibodies, and therefore vaccines remain effective for equine influenza. And you ask, what does that mean for us as owners? It really means no additional flu vaccine boosters are necessary. And what's that do? It saves all of us time, and it saves all of us money. And who doesn't like that? Another study funded by the foundation in 2021 addressed the use of regional limb perfusion techniques to treat joint infections. This study, led by Dr. Kilcoyne at the University of Davis, confirmed the use of a carrier solution, and this technique both increased antibiotic levels in the joint and reduced tourniquet time during the procedure. This perfusion technique is now widely used in practice, as many of us have observed. And the completed work provides a way for veterinarians to improve the outcome of many joint and distal limb infections in the horse. It's really, really pretty cool, the impact that we can have on this industry. The American Quarter Horse Foundation continues to be one of the major funders of equine research in the entire world. And we are extremely proud of our contributions to equine health, and thank you all for your steadfast support. So continuing with investments, scholarships, one of the big ones. We always want to help our youth because our youth are our future. Our investment in educational opportunities available to youth members for higher education is pivotal in ensuring the future leadership of our industry. Each year, the foundation helps pave the way for hundreds of youth members to pursue the education they need for successful careers that then pilot them toward a bright future. You know why? They return to us. They return to us as breeders. They return to us as owners. They return to us as veterinarians, business professionals, and ultimately AQHA committee members who then attend conferences just like this one and lead us into the future. And in keeping with AQHA's initiative to continually enhance opportunities for youth, the foundation embarked on a scholarship endowment campaign in 2022. And since that time, we've established 9 new scholarship endowments from individuals, states, and affiliates. And we'd like to congratulate the following states and regions who have fully funded their endowments at $100,000 or more since the 2022 convention. First, the Texas Caucus Scholarship Endowment. Second, the Andrew Macbeth Region 9 Leadership Scholarship Endowment. And third, the Indiana Quarter Horse Youth Scholarship Endowment. This was really just the beginning, though. It was really interesting. Larry and Ellen Bell and I were at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony last year in Amarillo, Texas, and we were having a very candid conversation about the importance of our youth and the importance of our affiliates. And we really did a lot of brainstorming, and Larry said, I think we really need to come up with a way to incentivize our youth, incentivize our affiliates, and incentivize our states to invest further in our youth. And so Larry and I sat there for a while, and he said, we have to incentivize them. And I said, okay, what are we going to do? This sounds awesome. Next steps. And he said, I have an idea. He said, Ellen and I can help incentivize these guys. For every dollar that a state or an affiliate will give, we'll give an additional 50 cents up to a couple $100,000. Pretty amazing. The generosity. Thank you. And I'm really pleased to share that as a result of the generosity, many states and regions resolved to grow their previously established endowments to pay over longer periods of time and pay additional dollars. And what does that do? It goes to deserving youth in their states and their affiliates. And what better way to invest a dollar? So I'd like to congratulate the following regions for investing in their young people and leveraging this phenomenal opportunity that was provided by the Bells. First, AQHA Region 6 affiliate. Second, the Georgia Quarter Horse Association. Third, the Pennsylvania Quarter Horse Association. And finally, the Nebraska Quarter Horse Youth Association. The generosity felt by the Bells throughout the American Quarter Horse Foundation is absolutely amazing. They give of their time. They give of their resources. They give of their talents. They do this in the memory of their late daughter, Amy. Sorry. Sorry. And they mentor many of us, and I'm beyond grateful for them. Unfortunately, they could not be here today. However, they did a short video for us, and they will be with us tomorrow. Please greet them. They are amazing, heart of gold individuals that would do anything for anybody, and they are delightful, and I encourage every one of you to meet them. Please roll the bell video.
The Quarter Horse Foundation Scholarship Committee has done an amazing job of selecting some very special young people to receive the Amy Bell Scholarship. Larry and I have thoroughly enjoyed getting to know these outstanding young people. We are amazed with all that they have accomplished in their young lives, as well as their commitment to pay it forward.
Through this challenge grant, Ellen and I want to encourage the states and regions who have begun endowed scholarships with the foundation to grow their endowments. Our Bell family continues to grow Amy Scholarship Fund in support of our AQHA young people. We now want to encourage others to support the various scholarship endowments in the same way. By doing so, these endowments can provide really meaningful and significant scholarship support for these very deserving young people.
Thank you. Truly, absolutely awesome, awesome people. So the American Quarter Horse Foundation exists to honor the past and provide for the present and the future of our AQHA members and the quarter horse itself. Honoring and celebrating the individuals and horses who personify the legendary ideals of AQHA, making them the most versatile and, the largest and most versatile breed in the entire world. The American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame showcases those people and those horses who have left an indelible mark on our breed. And we're going to meet some of those in just a few minutes. But before we do, I personally want to recognize and thank Miss Sarah Doles as past chair of the Hall of Fame committee. Miss Sarah, would you please stand and be recognized? And I would also like to congratulate Miss Lena Banks as the new chair of the Hall of Fame committee. Lena, congratulations. Please stand. Congratulations to everybody. Thank you so very much, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful convention. Mr. Announcer, please take it away.
Please welcome to the stage Chair of the American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame Committee, Lena Banks, and President of the American Quarter Horse Foundation Board of Trustees, Dr. Scott Myers.
Is not here.
I think we can do ours here.
Sorry.
Okay, we found the script. We're ready to go, Lena. What do you think? Nice entrance.
Thanks.
You look
too.
beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
You look mighty handsome yourself.
What a special time, and welcome everyone to the AQHA Hall of Fame Class of 2023 Induction Reveal Celebration. I'm so excited to honor here these people along with my partner today, Lena Banks.
Thank you, Scott.
Lena is a Hall of Fame chair. Lena, it's a special day. This is the first time we've revealed the new Hall of Fame inductees at such a grand format.
Well, you know, Mr. President, I completely agree, and I am so incredibly honored, especially to represent the Hall of Fame Committee and to be here with you today for the first time we've ever done this live to our members first right out the door. You guys get to know first.
So, Lena, I know that in the last year, the Hall of Fame Committee has worked very hard to transform and modernize the Hall of Fame selection process and the mission of the Hall of Fame. It's been a huge endeavor by a very passionate and dedicated group, and we're so proud of what you have accomplished. As the chair of this committee, can you tell us about the process?
Well, you know, it certainly has been a labor of love. I know I speak for my entire committee, but over the last year, the Hall of Fame Committee was actually charged with reviewing and improving the nomination and selection process. This group worked diligently to refine and modernize the process to ensure that horses and humans that are nominated have a consistent and transparent nomination opportunity. You know, the committee is comprised of individuals who have long-term experience across all of our disciplines. Not only do they do that, but they represent us both on a regional and international level. I have to tell you, it's a very diverse and very, very broad-minded group, you can imagine. And, you know, they took this responsibility and this assignment very seriously. We felt it was very important. We're super, super proud of the process that's going to bring you the honorees we're going to reveal today. You know, Mr. President, as you are aware, induction into the All-American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame is the highest honor bestowed upon a human or horse in our industry. It's only presented to individuals that have made transformational impact upon the American Quarter Horse and the American Quarter Horse Association. Both horses and human inductees should have made a historically significant influence upon their respective fields or disciplines, and the horses should have shown great accomplishment in these areas. The lives of human inductees should reflect their enduring influence upon their field of discipline, and they should show the highest level of character and integrity while making a direct impact on AQHA.
You know, Lena, we have so many legendary individuals that have made a great impact on AQHA. Lena, how do we ensure that these horses and humans are not missed or forgotten?
Scott, I'm so glad you asked that. I love it when he opens me up to be able to talk.
It's not hard.
Yeah, it's not hard at all. You know, and to me, it's a real concern, and we've considered that, and it's really important that we don't lose our history and our heritage as time marches forward and those things disappear. You know, as members of AQHA, we all have a responsibility. So I think it's simple. It's you, it's me, it's all of us as members, whether you're here today as a director or member or you're out in our AQHA world representing us as members. It's up to us to bring forth those individuals worthy of Hall of Fame distinction. We have to do it. We're the answer to all of this. And we have to ensure that no rock goes unturned to find those individuals.
Turn the page now?
Turn the page now.
Okay, all right.
The great thing is our new nomination process was redesigned to be simple and clear so that every member has the ability to nominate a candidate that they believe that's worthy of this honor. You know, I hope today's ceremony will inspire all of you to go out and find those legends and those heroes that cannot be missed in our industry. We also will have our Hall of Fame ceremony in September in Amarillo, and that should inspire and align us all to bring the great people forward so that we can continue to celebrate our heroes.
Well, Lena, thank you and your committee for your efforts. We're excited about the future. Now it seems it's time to reveal and celebrate the new class of 2023 to be inducted in September in Amarillo at the Hall of Fame induction and reunion celebration. So, without further ado, please bring the first envelope.
The first envelope. Imagine it's gold. It matches our outfit. All right. Is it me?
So, are we going to, am I going to do this or you?
Well, I know how you are. It's going to be challenging for you to get that open.
Well, then I'm giving it back to you.
You're up. You're up.
All right. You might have to help me, Lena.
Okay.
Wow. Wow. Okay, our first 2023 honoree to be inducted into the horse category, Harley D. Zip.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited. This is so fabulous. What an outstanding horse. You know, I don't know, Mr. President, you probably were there. I know you were there at the Congress, but I think I was there every single time that Harley D. Zip won the World Championship in Western Riding, as I know many of you were. You know, what's also really remarkable about this horse, he is the only horse to have ever won that class in all divisions. He won the junior, the senior, the youth, the amateur, and the select in the Western Riding. So he's just an outstanding individual.
Oh, yes, he is, Lena. This is truly a grand horse. You have to be great to live up to the name Harley. Another very cool fact is Harley is one of the few American quarter horses celebrated enough to be immortalized into the Breyer horse. So in 2014, there he is. So I'm looking forward to learning more about Harley's journey to stardom in September.
So today I would like to recognize Harley's amazing family who helped him achieve all of these goals. Unfortunately, Carrie and Lou Poppendek could not be here today, but their daughters Allie Poppendek and Christina Comer, would you please stand so we can recognize you? Congratulations to you all. Very well deserved. What a great horse.
Wow, that's so exciting. Lena, are you ready for the next envelope?
Yeah, I can't wait. Dan. Oh, surprise. Thank you. Make sure we have the right one. Okay.
Okay, who's going to open this one?
This is me.
All right.
Hold my mic.
All right.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I was waiting for the drum roll. So in the human category, please welcome to the class of 2023, Laverne Perry.
Wow, Lena. I'll turn the pages. You just stand there and look pretty. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, well, Lena, you know, Mr. Laverne Perry has been a fixture in the AQHA racing industry for so many years. He is legendary for his efforts as the executive director of Louisiana Quarter Horse Racing Association and for bringing AQHA racing to the forefront and helping to create long-term sustainable models to keep racing viable today and into the future.
Yes, as you know, Mr. President, Mr. Perry was also known for his remarkable AQHA breeding program that spanned more than 40 years. One of his special horses that came from his program was the great Mr. Jess Perry, named for Laverne's father. This horse earned $687,000 during his career, and as a breeding stallion, his offspring have earned more than $40.8 million on the track. Quite a remarkable legacy.
We would like to recognize Mr. Laverne Perry's daughters here with us today, Lee Perry and Karen Roosh. Congratulations. Congratulations to your family on this outstanding recognition for your father, Laverne Perry. Okay, let's bring the next envelope, please.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll. Okay, do I get to open one?
It looks like it.
Are we on the right page?
Yes.
You take care of that, and I'll get the envelope. What do you say?
You get the envelope.
All right. And the next 2023 honoree to be inducted in the horse category is Oki Leo. Lena, this is one of the legendary horses that has put his stamp on so many of the great ranching stallions and mares of the West today. He was known for breeding horses with great conformation, cow sense, and trainability. As you're aware, that in his lifetime, he sired 531 foals that earned over 4,500 AQHA points. In multiple events, he had 39 colts start on the track and recorded numerous wins in rodeo and ranching events.
Yes, you know, not only was Oki Leo an AQHA champion himself, but the horse sired 64 horses that earned Register of Merits and even 2 AQHA World Championship super horses. What an amazing all-around stallion.
I'd like to recognize John Mixer and Helen Roby representing Oki Leo today. Congratulations on the great accomplishments for a great horse. Please stand. Congratulations on the accomplishments of your great horse. Well, this is so much fun. I don't know about you, Lena, but I can't wait to see who's next.
I can't either.
Okay. You think we'll get the drum roll this time?
We need a drum roll.
Okay.
We want a longer drum roll. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, drum roll. We're not going to open this till we get the drum roll. Nice, nice.
Wait a minute, is this you? Oh, yeah. You get to it says Scott clumsily opens envelope now.
You're always trying to take me
I
out,
wrote the
you know?
script.
This is my part. I'm saying it. Wow. In the human category, please welcome to the class of 2023 past president, Mr. Ralph Seekins.
You know, Mr. President, some of my fondest memories with my time with Ralph was talking to him about his beautiful, beloved state of Alaska and the wonderful American Quarter Horse people there. You know, Mr. President, Ralph is the first and only AQHA president from Alaska, and he also proudly served as a state senator for this great state. You know, Ralph has volunteered so generously and given so much of his talent and time in so many capacities over the years.
You're right, Lena. Ralph will always be remembered for his willingness to serve wherever needed, and also for his open and welcoming ways to the AQHA members. He was known for continuously encouraging volunteer involvement in the state affiliate and on local and regional levels. Ralph's message to the membership was always, get involved and make a difference. It's your AQHA. He truly is a person and a great example of service to all. Thank you, Ralph. So, Ralph, please stand with your wife, Connie. Hey, hi, Connie. So please recognize with me past President Ralph Seekins and his wife, Connie.
Wait for a second for that.
Okay. Before we continue, we just wanted to take a moment and remind you all about the AQHA Hall of Fame induction and reunion celebration, where each of these individuals will be formally inducted into the Hall of Fame in Amarillo.
You know, Scott, this is one of my favorite events of the year. It's a chance where all of us come together from around the globe to celebrate and support the Hall of Fame and the honorees right there in Amarillo in our home of the Hall of Fame. It's a very special time, and we are thrilled to invite you all to attend. The event will be September 15th and 16th of 2023. We have limited tickets for this event, so you must have one in advance. But during the convention until April 30th, you can purchase your discounted ticket here. So I encourage you to get those tickets. It is you cannot miss this celebration. So in your chairs, there's a flyer that has a QR or a QR code.
That's close.
QR code. And you can learn more about how to purchase your tickets, or you can certainly talk to Chris and her team about how to make that happen.
Thanks, Lena. Now let's celebrate the next in our class of 2023. May we have the envelope, please?
May we have the envelope, please? Where's the drum roll?
Yeah, we're not going to do this. There we go. All right, we're on. Doesn't want to come out. Wow. In the human category, please welcome to the class of 2023, G.R. Carter, Jr.
I think I heard someone in the room say, well, it's about time. What can we say? AQHA professional horseman, AQHA director, jockey of over 3,900 AQHA wins, earning more than $75 million, and voted AQHA champion jockey an astounding 13 times.
You know, Lena, that's all amazing, but even more, while staying on top of the leaderboard, I understand from some of GR's cowboy friends that he also earned and still holds the title for the greatest ostrich racing jockey of all time. So GR, I'm sure there's more to that story that we'll need to hear about later, and we're excited to learn about that at the fireside chat in September at our reunion. Please join me in recognizing Mr. G.R. Carter, Jr.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Well, we're down to the final stretch.
Yeah. Just two more.
I know. We lose our fame and our time on the stage.
It's over. It's fleeting.
Over.
It's always
fleeting.
Yeah.
It's fleeting. All right. May we have the envelope? Drum roll.
Hey.
We're getting it longer now. Oh, I get to open this. In the horse category, please welcome Highbrow Cat.
Wow. Highbrow Cat. Highbrow Cat has progeny earnings of more than $90.8 million to date. Just last year, 12 of the top 25 cutting horse sires were sons or grandsons of Cat. That's just remarkable.
It's remarkable. You know, this horse is just an unbelievable sire. Not only does he have remarkable stallion offspring, with two of his sons, Metallic Cat and Smooth as a Cat, joining him in the top 5 of all time on the all-time sires list by performance money earned. But he's known for his being an amazing sire of tremendous broodmares, holding the slot of number 2 all-time broodmare sire. Cat's broodmares have foals earning in cutting alone nearly $63 million. This horse certainly has earned his place in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he has. And representing Highbrow Cat today, please join me in recognizing Tracy Ross.
I heard rumor Tracy was very instrumental in helping to create this nomination, so thank you for your efforts bringing us this great horse. So?
Elena, it looks like we're down to the final envelope.
I'll get it for you.
All right.
I'll get it for you. Last one, Dan.
You know, Elena, do you think this would be a good time to take a break?
No. I don't know, Mr. President, with all due respect, I don't think the world needs another awards show mishap.
Well, you could be right. And if we take a break, Carl will be up here.
Yeah, Carl, get up here.
We can't get him off the stage. He has so much to say. He's got a lot to say in his first year.
He's got a lot to say in his first year.
Yeah. Okay, let's open this envelope. In the human category, please welcome to the class of 2023, Mr. Clark Bradley. Yeah.
I wrote you some new stuff.
Okay, good.
You know, Clark Bradley was so well known and admired by so many of us at AQHA. He was an AQHA Director Emeritus, 2001 Professional Horseman of the Year, AQHA Judge and President of the Ohio AQHA Affiliate. Clark's contribution to AQHA and the industry is very broad. He has also been recognized as a Hall of Fame member for the American Quarter Horse Congress and for the National Reining Horse Association.
You know, Clark also spent 26 years as an instructor at the University of Findlay, where he also coached the equestrian team to multiple national championships. I talked to Clark's wife, Bonnie, this week, and she told me that Clark was always focused on longevity. He never pushed a training horse too quickly, but instead he was concerned about the longevity of their career. When working for the universities and associations, he made decisions for the long term and not the short term. And for the longevity of an AQHA family, Stretch, Clark, CR, 3 generations, well, the Bradley family certainly had that figured out too.
Representing Clark Bradley today, please recognize Clark's son, CR Bradley.
Well, CR, congratulations to your family on this well-deserved recognition for your father, Clark. Following this ceremony, please join us all for lunch and celebration with our 2023 honorees. And where are we going to do that at, Lena? Do you know?
That's not on my script.
It's not on my script either. Well, we'll find out.
There's
Chris will
lunch
tell us.
somewhere within the facility for all of us.
And join us, please, from that Foundation Lounge located next to the glass wall at the Foundation desk.
If you haven't had an opportunity to experience the lounge, it's a great space to have your picture taken and share in the great things all Foundation. So please visit there and meet our great families representing the honorees today. And don't forget, purchase those tickets for the Hall of Fame celebration. We always sell out, and we want to make sure that you're there for the reunion and celebration in Amarillo, September 15th and 16th.
So a couple more announcements. We just got a few more things to take care of. I want to thank Carl and thank you all for being here this morning. As a reminder, the board meetings are open to registered convention attendees for observation. Since non-board members will be in attendance, all board members must identify themselves prior to speaking. If you have something to say And don't forget, directors, if you have not had your badge scanned for your attendance for the Board of Directors meeting, now is the time to do so. To be clear, we will adjourn this meeting, the general meeting right now, and immediately call the Board of Directors meeting back to order. The general membership meeting is adjourned, and we'll move right into the next meeting.